just find it here. Oh. Mowers Textile. Is that common for us to have that kind of loss? These are final billings for missing items.
Mhm.
Almost $700.
I don't know what the common is because I haven't, they
Right.
were here.
Sure.
And the employees said they turned them in, Mauer said they didn't have it, there was nothing, we have a new procedure taking place for this next place, so when they turn them in, they're gonna have to sign this, and Joe will have to, when they pick it up,
Right.
have them sign that they have everything. So it's an ongoing thing.
Perfect.
Ongoing thing.
All right.
My question is how do they know there's missing items if the contract hasn't come to a close? Because how come we don't know whether it's either there or it's in our possession? How do they know there's missing items at this point?
Because when they turn them in, I guess supposedly Mauer finally didn't check that they turned them in. Cause they say, well, this was signed out for each employee.
Okay,
Well, then if they say, when they put everything in their system, there's stuff missing, that's what it is.
It is closed out. Right?
Yes, I did, another invoice came, I gotta dig, I haven't.
so it's closed out that we don't work with I
Yeah.
guess what
So,
okay, you switched
We switched
uniforms. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why, okay.
Yeah.
That's, because I know my experience, that's the case. That never happened until you switched contracts.
correct.
So we switched contracts. That's my question. Okay, all right, now I understand. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Do we do the manual payment register too?
The EFT, yes.
We're done or not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Payroll. The amount of $114,693.29.
I move that we pay the payroll, dated March 28th for $114,693.29.
Support.
Who's the second?
Gary. Been moved and seconded to pay the payroll. Any questions? If not, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, well, I think that was about the minutes.
Yep,
We gotta have Gary.
I got him already.
Oh, okay, perfect.
That's got everybody on there.
All right, treasurer's report.
Beginning cash and investment balance is $3,308,078.12. Total receipts was $896,641.08. Total bills of payroll is $40,094.01. Bonds and escrow is $10,250. CD reserved for 2 trucks is $637,452.86. Available fund balance is $3,116,922.33. Outstanding accounts payable is $14,496.29.
Any questions? No, stand as presented. Treasurer's report. Oh, you just, I didn't cross it off. I'm losing it. Okay, public comment. We're ready. Yeah.
You know, in the Andrews Reading Township, at our meeting on Monday, we had a person come in, Ken McClellan, and he asked me if I would give this to the road commission. He has an issue on his road on Kelly Drive, where when you scrape the road, it creates a slight berm. So he has concerns, and he's not getting any replies. He's got in here dates and stuff that he's contacted the road commission, and there's just no feedback for him. And if you look at the information, you'll see it. And then, this morning as I was coming into here, up on Ridge Drive at 5471, this is an area that's on top of a hill, and the house has a driveway that comes down and meets the road. The road commission has done a lot of work to make that work, because when the water stands down there, of course, we get potholes. The last time, I believe this is just a training issue, but it's for you guys to decide. You've made a ridge, and now it is just full of water and potholes. So I don't know if that's a maintenance thing, or does the township have some responsibility?
Doesn't sound like it. We'll go there and take a look at it.
I have pictures for you if you want to see them later.
Okay.
And then I also have pictures of down on Ridge Drive where the people put all the stones along the road, and it's just full of water because it can't get off the road. So those are just two things that I wanted to share. Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah. Last time I was here was about 4 months ago. And I was told, and yep, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna get it done, Glenn. Well, it's coming up on almost a year. That little thing on Bun Road, the 150 feet that needs to be dug out and put a burn there. It's hard for me to understand in 9 or 10 months how come this place has been so busy that they can't send a crew out there and get that done. It blows me away. Bob's a good guy. Remember when we didn't have a manager and you had to take phone calls? What happened? Things got done, didn't they, Bob? Things got done. Okay, Bob's gonna be the manager here in a while. And he's gonna be a good manager. Got no trouble with Bob. You guys can tell me things are gonna get done. Okay, you know, tell me again. I think the problem is pretty obvious. The problem is your supervisor's out on the road that ain't doing diddly. They don't schedule anything. I don't know what's wrong with Kevin. He's got a coffee addiction, can't leave the building. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I don't know if he can fire people all along here. I don't know if he's waiting just to be the manager. And he's been observing things, I imagine, and he can let people go as needed. Why does it take that long? Just why does it take that long to do that? It's 150 feet maybe. It's marked out good. There's a black mailbox on the east side of the road, and there's an orange flag up at the top. This is kind of reminding me of Cooper Road, how it drug on and on and on. You know, and I'm not here to pitch. I'm trying to keep it clean. It shouldn't happen. This reminds me of the guy that, when Saunders was here. Right here he was. Screaming at the top of his lungs. He ain't leaving until he gets a date when somebody's gonna come out and do something. You remember that? I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna scream at you people, because you got your own little thing, you know? These people are supposed to get this scheduling and all this stuff done. Either it's not coming, I can't believe it's not coming down, Bob, and I can't believe it's not, hey, we got Bun Road this thing, 150 feet. Can we clean it up? Put it on the schedule. Have you done that?
We've talked about it,
Well, you know,
but the thing is, you gotta understand,
talk to me.
like Alan has got 3 projects on the books that have been there from last year, that they paid for, that we're still trying to get to. We're scheduling things, we're trying to knock them off as we can, but that 150 foot, every township has dozens of those 150 foot. We're getting to a lot of them, we're trying to get to them, but there's people out there, there's still 7 contracts that we haven't got to complete from last year that we're trying to do. So it's a tight scheduling thing. It's not that people aren't doing anything, but there's a lot of work out there that's gonna take years to get
So
everything
by
done.
the time the next full eclipse comes, it's gonna get done?
I can tell you, but
I
we'll do our best.
jest, okay?
We've talked about it, and I think he's got a plan as to, there's very little that can get done there, to be honest with you. I mean, it's gonna take some riprap in the ditch and try to hold back some of the forest slope with that for the dirt. There's very little there, and then there's a steep ditch. There's not a lot of room there. So we'll have to figure out.
We'll have to make some room. You guys got machines, don't you?
Yeah. Again,
You
that
guys got
150
stone,
foot
don't
just
you?
turned into like a 3-week project to move that whole bank back.
I'm just saying, it's kind of a odd thing.
We got a plan to look at it and see if it'll work. And we have been talking about that specific area. So. But like I said, there's other.
Well, I get that too.
Things out there.
I feel Alan's pain. I understand where Alan's coming from, you know? He's got wits in, he's gonna be paying for stuff this year that didn't get done last year.
Yep.
But it's just amazing to me that, oh yeah, Glenn, it's gonna get done. You guys got your hands tied, I get it. You know, you can't tell them what to do. It's up to Bob and the rest. And I understand it, I'm not the only guy complaining about whatever it is I'm complaining about.
You are on the list, and we are looking at it. So.
I've been on a lot of lists, I understand. That's okay with me. But
We'll get it. Thanks, Glenn.
all right, we're ahead.
Nice to see you.
Have a grand day, people. Good luck with managership.
Well, that's yet to be seen.
I hope half the people that show up are as nice as I am.
10-15 bids,
Oh,
Oh, geez, yeah, we're gonna open this.
then we'll come back to public comment.
Yep.
all right. You ready?
Yeah.
You want my stat or utensils?
Who's this one from?
Greenscape General Contracting. Okay, so for the state trunk lines under the maintenance contract, the quantity of catch basins is 426 at a price of $150 each for a total price of $63,900. And then for the county roads, there's 34 total at $150 each, for a total of $5,100. Next one is from Pipeline Management Company. Okay, same thing, 426 for the state at $300 each, which is a total price of $127,800. And for the county, 34 each at 300 each is $10,200. The next one is Origin.
Any scissors,
Well, the,
thing broke.
I'll get it.
Okay. Maybe.
Today?
Kid group.
Want a pocket knife?
Well, yeah, I do got one in my pocket, I probably ought to,
Nope, she's got her shit.
I'm gonna do it with that.
You're determined.
He's determined to get this one off.
Oh, and then another envelope. All right, for the 426 for the state is 275 each, which is 117,150. For the 34 for the county is 275 each, at a total price of 9,350. So we don't have one from Progressive?
That's who she sent it out to, so
Okay, that's
who
okay.
she
So
sent
nothing
them
from
out to, but.
Progressive. For MK. For the 426 state basins is 200 each, 85,200. And for the 34 for the county, 200 each is 6,800. And the last one is roads. For the 426 state basins is $134 each, which comes out to $57,084. And then also for the 34 county is 134 each, at a total price of $4,556.
What was that total again?
The last one,
On the 134 or 134 was how many bucks?
$4,556.
Thank you.
I didn't keep track of what was what. Thank you. So with that, I guess I would recommend to the board that we approve the bid to Rogue Industrial Services at $134 each.
And Bart,
I'm just recommending it to you.
Who did we use last year?
Road.
Okay.
okay,
And did they do a good job?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they've done it for quite a few years.
so I would move that we award the bid to Rogue Industrial Services for the $134 a piece price.
And
Or,
that would be contingent on MDOT
Yeah.
approval.
Just gotta make sure I get that in the minutes. And then my cards.
Any more discussion? If not, it's been moved and seconded to award to Rogue Industrial Services. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion's okay.
My cards.
Okay, we'll go back to public comment. Anybody else have anything? Clint? No?
Just hi, haven't been here for a while.
No? All right. Manager's comment.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet if I can. Just a couple of updates. We've got our Act 51 report done and submitted to MDOT for this year, so it's done.
Awesome.
When you say Act 51, what Act 50, because I have Act 51.
Oh, sorry, the certified road mileages.
There you go. I was like, my Act 51 audit's not
Yeah, we'll call it done.
submitted.
A couple of informational things for the commissioners. The Southeast Council, we're the host this time, and so we'll be hosting that at the Lewis Emery Park on May 6th. And then Frugal 5 is also scheduled on April 29th. Kalamazoo is hosting that, and we'll be doing a tour of their new $60 million facility that they had built.
I can't even imagine $60 million.
I don't know why we call them frugal.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
right.
I can imagine 67 million, but not here.
So those are just 2 dates to put on your calendars if you want to attend.
What
either.
time does the thing start, May 6th?
I didn't write them down.
You
Usually it's
said
10.
Frugal 5 was.
Well, the meeting starts at 10, people
Yeah.
start to gather like between
Rolls
9
and
9:30.
coffee like 9:30,
Who's all going?
and that's really up to you guys.
Well, that, you have about 8 or 10 counties that, No, I mean Come to from that. here, I'm from here. okay,
We're hosting our.
Yeah, we're hosting
Yeah.
those.
Southeast Council, we're hosting,
No, I'm talking about the Frugal 5. oh,
and that could be any one of you.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to go, and I wondered,
Is that the 29th you said?
Yeah.
I
So
wondered,
you'd like to go or you can't go?
no, I'd like to
Okay.
go. I'd like to put me down as I'd like to go. I just was wondering if I'm gonna drive up there alone,
Oh,
or are we gonna all go as,
I would imagine, I mean, I'm gonna go, so if somebody wants to ride with me, or.
are you a good driver?
I've made it all this way.
Okay, well,
I rode with him on the west end of Camden Road, and he got me back to Hillsdale.
That was luck.
Only had to swerve in the ditch like 3 times.
okay. He saw a part of Camden Road he never seen before, I think that's the case.
So anyway, we just need to be able to give numbers to Karen so that we know how many people to schedule and pay for both of those. Yeah, cause we gotta pay for the meals to go along with them.
No, the April 29th one I can make, but the other one I
I'll go to the Southeast Council.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Southeast Council thing, I don't know,
I won't go.
the Frogo 5, we may be gone.
So I have, so Southeast East Council, Bob Godfrey, Gary Weininger, and Mike Perney.
Yep.
And then Frugal 5, I have Mark
I think I'll go.
and Bob,
Okay.
as of now.
Yeah.
And then,
I'll take a look at my
yeah,
calendar.
and then we can still let Karen know at different days.
If you elect later on, just let us know and let Karen know.
I haven't been to a frugal five yet, so I guess we better go.
It's really the same principle as the Southeast, it's just a little more, I don't wanna say down in the weeds, but it's,
We got Branch, Hillsdale, St. Joe.
More comparable to us,
Yeah.
except for Kalamazoo.
I was like, Karen,
Is Barry still part of that? They
they
were.
were waffling on whether they were gonna stay going to that, even the Southeast Council, I think they might be going to the Southwest.
Okay, and then as far as the Frugal 5, wasn't there another county or two? I mean, Kalamazoo was in it, but they're really, I was thinking there was one more county.
I don't know, those are the 5, the 6 with Kalamazoo.
Can you put me down for the Southeast Council?
Oh, Cass.
Yeah, Cass and
Cass
Joe.
is included as well. We got 4 counties on the tier, we had Barry and Kalamazoo.
Let's see,
Lenaway's on the dark side.
Well, they're,
they're not frugal.
I
I don't know how they established that way
well,
back
how
in
in
the
the
day.
world Kalamazoo ever got involved in the mix of Pete's?
No, I've never figured
I
that
don't
one out.
know either, but,
I tease them saying it's the frugal 5 plus 1.
yeah, there you go.
Frugal 5 plus the giant.
Okay, let's see. Safety Day is scheduled for April 19th here in our barn. That's a Friday. The following Monday, April 22nd, is when we'll be going to our 410s.
When did you say that was?
April 22nd.
Monday.
Okay.
Let's see, tomorrow I have the Wheatland Township ride-along, that'll be the last township. They'll all
They've all had a ride.
had a ride. The only one that didn't elect to take one, and we kinda talked anyway, was Scipio. They didn't have a whole lot to look at, and I went and talked to them at their township meeting the other day. So, other than that, Wheatland will be the last one, but I told them all, if they have issues, just call. There's nothing saying we can't go look at something or take another one, so not a big deal. Let's see, Hog Creek Road Bridge is been ordered, and so we should hopefully see that within 14 to 16 weeks. And then hopefully take a couple weeks to install it, and we'll have to start removing the old bridge a little prior to that, but we will have to run a crane and an excavator like we did for Camden Road to the excavator to break up the old abutments and get it removed, and the crane to drive the piles and set the bridge down. So it's really the same principle as we did on Camden Road. It's just a lot shorter bridge and not quite as long, so it shouldn't be as lengthy. But hopefully we can still get it in there by school start.
So it's not as deep either.
What's that?
It's not as deep.
Yes, that's what I meant, it's not as deep, so. Let's see. I came into the park meeting earlier and told you about the estimate for the roads in the parks, and basically that came out to around 205,000. So we'll see if there's interest in for the township and other entities to help pay. We'll go from there, and if they are, we can get down into a firmer estimate, and even if we want to look at where we can widen the road a little bit, because most of the roads are 14 foot wide, which isn't a regular road, but it is certified, I guess. The main drive is 22 foot, which would be normal. So if we can widen some of them out to that 22 foot, great, but
Do we want them wide? There's no reason to widen them.
If there's,
I don't know, but they're certified,
they're
so.
certified road, it should be up to the standards. But I know
I
some
don't
spots
think-
You would
can't.
think.
There's a lot of spots you'll never get that.
I mean, I would have understood, this is just me talking here, I would have understood the main drive coming into
Right,
the
Yeah, that would be.
community center being certified in 22 foot.
right.
The rest should really be park roads, but that's as well beyond me, so we'll have to.
You weren't in on the.
Nope. I don't know if any of you were either, so that was like a long time ago. So anyway, that's the rough estimate, we'll narrow that down if everybody's interested in doing that. I think and that's using an estimate of our crews to do it, and taking a week to do it, for 10-hour days.
And doing a 2-inch overlay.
I believe it's 1.5
Inch and a half, he said.
We can do 2 inch, it would just
Make it more.
make it a little more.
Inch and a half's pretty good lift.
For those roads, I think it would be, I mean, on a normal road, I would say 2 for get a little bit of structural.
Well, for one thing, you're not getting heavy truck traffic.
Should.
You're not getting, you shouldn't be getting any heavy farm equipment traffic on those roads.
The other thing you really should be getting is if you have a garbage truck come into the community center to get the garbage.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that's a 22 foot wide, hopefully regular base road. That's really all the place they should be,
He's
Yeah.
only on it,
once a,
month or.
yeah, it's not like a subdivision where everybody got a different garbage company and there's 20 garbage trucks coming in. So, all right. I had Michigan Paving come in last week, or actually this week, and discussed Chalk Trail, which is one of the contracts that we had from last year with Somerset to repave or crush and shape Chalk Trail. That's one that didn't get done last year, so we have them come in and re-estimate just to make sure, where we're at. It actually came in a little less than what the original estimate was from last year, so that's good.
Oh, yeah.
But, so we're still looking at trying to get all that work done, and I guess more to come probably next meeting on that, and hopefully we can get rolling on that and let them,
What
because
was
they've got everything, they're doing everything. Traffic control, slope restoration, paving, crushing, that's everything.
what was the estimate?
The old one, the total was like 303,300. The new one came in at 274,673. Now, that's why I had him come, and he's gonna go back and validate this before we get to going on, to make sure, because we have like generic figures in here under that 303 last year for traffic control and engineer inspection and, the shoulders and that kind of stuff. So he's gonna make sure those numbers are right, but for the most part, that 274 is what he's saying that they're gonna do. Then while I had him, I had the township supervisor from Somerset on his ride along discuss that the Somerset Lake Association is also looking to possibly do a special assessment to do all the roads around Lake Somerset. And so I've also got him going out to do a rough estimate. He's gonna kick that back to us, and we'll go to the township, and then I guess township can go to the Lake Association to say, this is the ballpark. And if they don't wanna be in that ballpark, that's too much or whatever, or if they say, yeah, we can handle that, then we'll get into some specific, every road, this is the fix for it, this is what that road's gonna cost, and there's about 3 or 4 roads that we've already done lately, so they're already taken care of. But just a rough estimate for the mileage that's in there and everything, it's gonna be right at the 5 million ballpark.
So this would be a special assessment.
This would be a special assessment for the Lake Association, I guess. So, I don't know how many people are out on the lake, but it's gonna be in that 5 million ballpark. Cause it's right just shy of 10 miles, so it's 500,000 a mile to do everything. Which is actually what Jackson's actually figuring 500 a mile now, where I've been telling you 400. They're figuring 500 just to pump for.
Crush and shoot.
Yes, that's everything, crush and shape. That's them doing traffic control, I'm doing the shoulders, everything. So our crew don't get involved with it, other than we'll probably have to have an inspector or something out there, but, that keeps our crews doing work that we need to get done, because that would tie them up, the whole crew up for
A long time.
a long time. And they're figuring they could come in and out and do that in a couple weeks.
It don't take long.
But anyway, that's just kind of one of those things that's out there. Let's see, what else? We're working on ordering the 2 tubes for Trip Road and Beecher Road. Trip is a local match with the township, and Beecher is the primary, so it's totally on us. They're both basically a 50-foot tube. I think they're 6-foot diameter. So until those get ordered and get in, we can do that. I'm waiting on the reply back from the company doing the hydraulic study on Elm. And if those hydraulics come back right, hopefully we can do a tube there too. We're kind of guessing at it's called an elliptical tube, so it's kind of a squash tube that's 9.3 foot wide and 6.3 foot tall. And hopefully that'll work. But we've got to get that and send into Eagle with that approval before we can actually worry about ordering that one.
Any idea how long it may be till that?
I think that report will be, next week probably.
I know that, some of the people who live in that area and hated to see the road closed, would love to see it done yet this year.
Well, I think, and don't quote me on this, it's gonna be up to how long it takes to make the tube. I think once we get the hydraulics back, we get it sent into Eagle. I think they've got enough pressure here lately that hopefully we get that back fairly soon. Because he said that's all that he would wait on, was that the hydraulics work for that tube. And he'll see the data and whether it does or doesn't. As long as it does, then hopefully it's just however long it takes to make the tube. Well, put that out for bid.
Which road was that again?
Elm Road.
Thank
It's
you.
in Pittsburgh Township.
Yep.
Let's see, so that's the 2 territorial road bridges are going along as planned, and there's don't seem to be any hiccups right now, so we're still looking at end of June for a completion timeframe. And we're trying to work with Eagle right now on another tube on territorial road that's east of Bird Lake Road, that it's about to fail, and so we need to get that permit from them to say what size tube we can put in there. So we'll be working that hopefully at about the same time. But I'd hate to open the road up and then have to close it back down for another tube.
Right.
Even though that'd only be, once we got the tube, it'll be a few
Where
days
was
to
that
get it in.
again? Where was that? To the.
Territorial east of Bird Lake Road.
Isn't that just a standard tube then?
Yep. It's an old tube, been there a while, and where the tube's like this, it's like
Yeah,
collapsing on itself, so it's not gonna be long, and it's gonna,
and then the road will go in.
at that point, it will be closed until we can get it replaced. But right now, it's holding its own.
Now's the time to do it.
While you're on tubes and bridges, I was at the Camden Township meeting last night, and the supervisor indicated to me there's problems with whether it's a tube or an old bridge on Sampson Road. I had the impression that you were with him on a ride around recently and that you looked at this structure. So
Is that the one there?
I think it's not just east of M49, isn't it?
I guess that one I was thinking, but okay. Yeah, I've got pages from every one of our ride-alongs. The supervisor or the foreman, Kevin did on some of them, rode along and they wrote all the notes and then emailed me the notes as to, okay, we talked about this with this. So I got a lot of them from every township of all these little maintenance areas, those 150-foot spots that we need to try to address some of those little spots to just help. But we got a ton of tubes and.
And his concern with this one is to try to get a head start with Eagle, because that seems to be the big
It is.
holdup to get anything done on these
Mhm.
tubes and smaller bridges is, to get them into action so we can find out what we can do and then go ahead and do it.
It is. That is the choke point, but.
At the Cambria board meeting, or the Woodbridge fire chief was there, and he told me on Camden Road, west of Woodbridge, there's a dip in the road. He said they had a fire, and they went through there with a fire truck at night and about bottomed out.
Is that a tube?
I asked him. He said-
Camden Road, west of Woodbridge?
Yeah, I asked him, and he said, no, it's just a dip in the road.
I mean, it's driving too fast for conditions.
That's what I thought, that's what I thought. Prima facie law.
Yes. Okay, so we can take a look at that and see if that's, cause there's just a few spots around like that, that we're gonna try to deal with. It's
There's
like
one,
a dip in the road that the water goes over the road constantly, we gotta try to fill some of those in, and there's a lot of little spots, that's why.
Walden Road's got that bad one over there that we were gonna try to fix.
Well, I guess I can kinda hit on that. For this year, we got Camden Road, I think it's 2 miles of Camden Road that's getting done with our federal aid. So from here on out, all they say is various roads. So they were planned out far enough ahead to where nobody picked roads. It's just as various roads, and it's usually right around $1 million is what we get for that. So one, we gotta start planning as to what we're gonna call those various roads and start getting some of that paperwork done, and Heather's starting to do that. But I think one of them probably needs to be Walden Road that we look at.
Which way?
Yes.
Which way?
This is north.
$1 million might get you 10 feet.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and that's the
It's
thing.
bad.
The first mile or two south of 12 is gonna take some work, and that's got one of the big dips that we're gonna have to try to go through that
You
swampy
got
area.
swamps there
Yep.
too.
The muck in there is.
yeah, they gotta put
But I think if we can,
fabric down and
if
everything.
we can crush that and then put fabric down and then build it up, that fabric works really good.
Eagle will get into that one,
Well, they will, and
you know.
I guess it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to deal with them and work. They might, if you widen it out, and then you gotta mitigate the wetlands from somewhere else, and because that's taking away wetlands and you widen out a road.
That's not a bad one because it goes all the way across the county,
It
north and south.
I understand it parallels 127, and yes,
Yep.
people could go over 127 and do the same thing, but that seems to be, from talking with the foreman and Kevin and me, sitting down and talking about it, that could easily be some continuous projects to get done.
A lot of farmers.
We still got the rest of Camden Road to do. There's a lot of roads out there, but what input, and I just asked, don't have to be right now, but what input would you like to see if there's anything unique to start planning out 2, 3, 4 years down the road? We're there and we need to do that.
South Hillsdale Road's bad too. South Camden Road, between Camden and Territorial, it's real bad, the road slides off.
South Hillsdale, south of Camden, you said?
Walden Road south of 34.
Waldron Road from Prattville Road north
Yeah,
to
so
12 is all bad.
Yeah.
but that'll take
Long time.
4 years of
Oh, at least.
federal aid to get that done, but
It'll take longer than that because you've got,
hopefully we get a little more along the way.
you've got 16, 18 miles.
Is it that far?
All the way across the county.
North and south.
And from Prattville Road south to the county line, it's good.
Yeah, real good.
But from Prattville Road north,
Clear to 12,
or the 12 is bad.
And that's traveled a lot by the farmers.
Oh, yeah, used heavily,
during season.
and even in the spring of the year, your chemical and fertilizer people use it extensively.
So I just wanted to say that was something that we were thinking of, but I know we talked before that you wanted to have input on what
And,
projects.
and, you know, at the same time, Camden Road from, especially M49 east to South Hillsdale Road, and then even the stretch from South Hillsdale to M99. That whole,
Well, I do have asphalt materials coming in, probably next week or two, and they're gonna bring, well, I guess we'll talk about it first. But they've got, I would call it a scratch box that you can set that down and fill those ruts with, they'd call it a cold mix pave. I think you did it on Moserville Road years ago. Didn't probably turn out quite so well because of the way they did it, but this will fill in the ruts, a small roller to compact it, and then we could put a overlay over the top of that with cold mix is what they're, you know,
Our experience up there on Moserville Road with cold mix was not good.
okay. Well, this is a whole different, I guess, process or what they figured out they did up there.
Well, it was actually put on too thick.
Yes, too
the
thick.
first time.
And so they're saying that it seems to hold up to the Amish traffic buggy and horse better because it's got a little bit of pliability to it. So that, you know, so I thought maybe we'd do like a mile and see.
As a test.
Yeah. So if we can fill in the ruts, compact it, and then a 1.5 to 2-inch overlay of that cold mix, and we can pave it with our paver, you know. That's the whole principle of the cold mix. It can be in a pile out here, we just haul it to the paver and lay it just like you would anything else.
it's worth a try.
So, yes, because there's no quick fix that's gonna happen on Camden
Right.
Road. So if we can try to do something like that, they're gonna come talk and look at the actual road and see where we go.
So just so I understand that, they're gonna put a cold mix down through the rut of 12 inches, I don't know, whatever, 24 inches. And then you're gonna come over and overlay with another cold mix?
Mm-hmm.
You can overlay cold mix? I
Well,
thought it'd be
it's
a hot
called
mix.
cold mix paving. It's just like you're doing hot mix, it's just cold mix, and it paves it at whatever thickness you want from your paver. It paves it, compacts it, and
So why aren't we using hot mix? What's the difference?
Cheaper.
a lot more money.
Okay, but the longevity's
And
very
we can
similar?
do it ourselves almost any time.
So when we do overlays, it's always cold mix?
No,
No, that's what I didn't think
it's
so.
normally right now, anytime we do an overlay right now, it's a hot mix,
That's what I
but it
thought.
costs a lot more money.
Costs more money. Even though we're using all of our own equipment.
Our own equipment isn't cheap.
Well, no, I know that. Yeah.
That's actually a big chunk of everything we do is our labor and equipment.
Right,
It's huge.
right, okay.
But it's a different process, it's a different material with a different vendor than the vendor that sells hot mix.
Okay.
And so they kind of compete against each other. And
And
I was like, okay, we can probably try
And we
something.
learned a lot from Moserville Road. So,
Yeah, that you can't put it thick like that. I remember coming out to see that one and it was like,
you
it was
can't-
like that thick.
Yeah, they tried to bring
And it
the
just kinda-
edges up.
Squished off, I guess is the easy way to say it,
Yeah.
but if you put it in like 2-inch, compact it just like you would hot mix, they're saying that it'll hold up to, especially the horseshoes and the.
I think the prime spot down there, you've got 2 miles from Carpenter Road west of Patrick Road. That 2 miles of Camden Road is the worst.
And I don't know what that's gonna cost compared to hot mix and what we can afford, only afford to do a mile or a half mile or something just to see how it reacts.
But I think it's worth a try.
I do too.
That's the same with the chip seals this year. I wanna try at least one section of it that instead of just a normal fog, I wanna do a cape seal, which is basically it's the same material, but it has sand in it also, so it's like a little thicker. And then when they spray it down, they drag a rubber squeegee or a lot of times it's just a canvas, burlap
To fill in.
flat, and it like smooths it all out. And so instead of just painting the top of the rocks, it's really filling it in and smoothing it out. And it gets used a lot more on subdivisions, you know, those kind of roads, and that way, you know, kids can still rollerblade and you don't have that rough, you know. But it costs probably $4 a square yard instead of $1 something a square yard to do. So it's not feasible to do on your long roads or anything, but some of these small, the subdivisions, that kind of stuff. But I'd like to try to do at least one road of that on our primary, we'll do it on a primary road, and that way we can show the townships, okay, this is what it is, this is what you would get if we, yes, it's gonna cost more, but this is what you'd get. I don't know if it would.
So this cold patch material that you're wanting to try on the Amish buggy tracks, this is a newer material than like what they used in the past?
Probably not, they probably just tweaked the formula of it. And what it is something, instead of having to wait on a hot mix plant or haul it in, they just make it right here. Or wherever you want it, they make it, and it's a big pile, just like cold mix. You scoop it up, and you haul it there in trucks, and you dump it in the paver just like you would hot mix. And
They had a similar product that we used down at MDOT just for pothole patching. And when they got it, I thought, yeah, this is a joke. That'll pop out of there in the first frost. Trucks couldn't even move it on snow.
a lot of that's
But it wasn't cheap.
compaction, yes.
It wasn't cheap.
So I think if you fill in the ruts and then do an overlay, that smooths everything out and that keeps the water off. But I guess more to come on that, because that's just kind of, we're talking with
Vendors.
other than that, I guess I don't have a lot unless you got questions.
Any questions for Bob?
No?
Not, we could go to.
So I have a question, Bankers Road. So we had talked about, I think at the last meeting, about doing an overlay there. So is the plan to do that from the Branch County line east to M49, or not come quite that far east? It probably needs it the whole way,
It probably needs it, just it's really gonna come down to the money thing, how far can we,
but the last mile and a half isn't nearly as bad as it is from Long Lake Road west to the county line. That's the worst of it, in my opinion.
Abbott Road,
Abbott.
from Abbott Road west.
Okay,
So if we can do that, great, because it needs it. I mean,
Yeah.
but, so we're gonna try to fill in what we can, pothole patching, and then we're calling it a paver patch, but it's gonna be an overlay, because there's really no place to stop.
Yeah.
So if you stopped anywhere, we'd get murdered.
Yeah.
well, and from an economical standpoint, it makes the most sense to just do
That
it.
is gonna limit how much we can do on the other roads this year, because we had quite a few spots, and again, I've got a map in my office of where we had those spots mapped out. Now, most of it's gonna be on that road, or a couple roads that are bad like that. And we don't have as many small spots scattered around that we were gonna paver patch.
Bob, do you know what Branch County did on Fisher Road? Took them all summer, they grounded it and they just sat there.
Until October.
And I'll be quite truthful, whatever they did to it, I'm not very impressed, so that's why.
I was gonna say, let me call and see what they did.
Yeah, we thought maybe that's something we ought to try, but I guess not.
So what, they just grounded it up and left it?
Yeah, all summer.
Yeah,
So I wonder if they're just planning on doing them.
no,
Overlay.
they came in, they put down something, but the road is not.
The hell of a better than Bankers.
Yeah,
They didn't do a double chip and seal, did they?
that's maybe what they did.
I hope not.
They
But I will
have,
never ask you to do that.
they have, Branch County has done that before.
Calhoun's got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sounds like they tried to do a crushing shape,
But some of them do that, they crush it and then do a double chip on it.
Yep.
And technically it's a hard surface, but Now you're talking about that thick, and
Yeah, that's like a pike crust road.
now ideally, the principle behind that is every so many years you put another layer, and eventually you'd wind up with a fairly thick road.
Yeah,
Nobody ever seems to carry through after that first.
oh yeah, it's pretty good the first year.
And once it starts falling apart, there's no fixing it whatsoever. You gotta grind it up.
Grind it up, it's
Because
terrible.
it comes out in like pieces and chunks, and
It hasn't yet.
it's chip seal. Oh, well, in a few years, it will, but first 5, 6, 7 years, yeah, it'll, but once it starts blowing out on you, it's gonna blow out on you bad.
I can remember years ago when Stan was here, Branch County was doing 2 miles to test it. And so we went up after it was done and drove it and everything. Yeah, it was decent.
Yeah.
You know, but
Right off the
they
bat,
never,
it looks decent, but
they never went back and done it again, and it just fell apart.
and that's what I said, if you actually did it the way you planned to do it and continued with it, yes, it probably could make sense. But
Nobody does it.
Yep.
That it?
unless you got other questions.
All right. Anything else for Bob? Gary, do you have anything on old business?
Yes, at the Camden board meeting last night, they said to me that the contract that we signed and they have signed to do something on Austin Road was actually done a year ago.
Yes, I gotta work with them. I talked to them on the ride along too about that, but
Yeah.
somehow we did another contract and everybody signed it. And that was one that we did last year. So it was just like a, I don't know, a copy and paste there, and it just got added in with all the contracts that went, that one went with it, and it was already done last year, and they re-signed it, we re-signed it. And
Can we still get the money from them?
we did talk
Very
about
vague.
it, but they did say that they were, because they signed it, and they kind of budgeted for that money, that, well, what about moving it to just a different road? And I'm like, yeah, we can, so I was gonna work with them to
Yeah.
pick a different road to do
So-
that same. It was chip seal, you know, paper patch and chip seal. So, yeah, that was brought to our attention on our ride along too.
Anything else? If not, new business. Signed mineral well brine contract extension.
So you should have that in your folder there. That's basically, Corrigan has, said that they would hold their price from last year, which is 18.5 cents a gallon. And
23% mineral well.
we had another meeting with them, me and Kevin and their president / owner and dispatchers and all that. They picked up an extra truck this year, so that they should be able to stay up with us a little bit easier. They did okay last year. There's once or twice that we had to slow down or stop grading to catch up, so we weren't too far ahead of them, but for the most part, I think they did pretty good, and they agreed that they would do, you know, a closer job, and with that extra truck should help.
I move that we sign the mineral brine contract.
Support.
Been moved and supported to sign the mineral well contract. Any discussion?
Just a question I would have, how soon do we anticipate we're gonna get started with that?
Well, we've been starting to scrape this week, and it's really to scrape to shake things back up from the winter time. And once they get through that, they should then start right at the northwest this year. Northwest corner, start grading to brine. And so mid-May.
Because I've, been having people say, well, particularly the southern townships, when are you gonna get to us the first time around? And I'm
Same as
telling,
the northern township last year.
That's what I told Branson.
and so I'm telling him that, well, our manager says we're gonna be all done the first time around by the 1st of July.
Yeah, our
That is-
goal,
That is the.
goal. You gotta make sure you say goal, or they'll pin it on you.
And I think so, because the limiting of the gravel and the limestone for patching will let us get that done quicker, which will let the grading happen quicker. And so I think last year we were pretty close to that anyway, and with limiting some of this, I think we should easily be done by the fourth, unless Mother Nature just decides to dump on us, I mean,
Yeah.
but.
I looked out last year and told Hillsdale Township that they reapplied by the 4th of July. They applied it the 4th of